You may have a friend, a family member, someone that's close to you, maybe even a coworker who is mistreating you. And you know they're mistreating you. But you're just putting up with their bullshit to keep the peace. I'm here to tell you guys that you don't need to keep the peace. You don't need to put up with their bullshit. You can feel like you're trapped, like you're in prison with this person, right? But you're not. The second that you walk away, the second that you take action, you realize that you can walk away from these toxic people, that you can live your life without them, and you can tell them no. A lot of us are afraid of telling someone no because we're scared of their reaction and we're scared of this person, right? Like if we're gonna piss this person off. So we keep this person around in the hopes that things are gonna get better or that this person's gonna change. But we can end up spending years with these kinds of toxic individuals. And it could be someone in your friend group. It could be someone in your friend group, right? Or like I said, a family member, someone you're scared to make mad because this person knows people that you know and that they're in your tribe. But you guys don't have to put up with that bullshit. You guys don't have to put up with someone fucking with you, with someone playing tricks on you, or, you know, invading your personal space, or not respecting you, right? That person that's always crossing the boundaries. And you know you have had someone like this in your life. Guys, leave them behind. Leave these people behind. I don't care like what the fallout is. Like, it's so worth it to leave someone like that, because they are just bringing you down into a lower vibration every single day. And that's how they operate. That's how these toxic people operate. They operate in a lower vibration, and they want to bring you down to their level. They don't like seeing you going on the come up. And by the way, these are the same people, these toxic people, these are the same people that are going to betray you. They're going to fuck you over. When you need help, they're not going to be there. But if you don't help them, they're going to be pissed. These are the same people that are going to ask you for money and they're not going to pay you back. They talk shit behind people's backs. And one thing, you notice about these toxic individuals, maybe as a toxic friend, toxic family member, talking trash about everyone. Guess what? When you're not hanging out with them, they're doing the same thing about you. They're talking about you, about what they don't like about you, about, you know, your secrets or embarrassing things. So don't think just because they talk bad about everyone in your presence that they trust you or whatever. No, they do that with everyone. They hang out with everyone and they talk trash about everyone. These people are like drama queens. They're magnets for negativity. So how do you get rid of someone like this? There's no easy answer on how to get rid of someone like this. You could either there's a few methods. You could start ghosting this person, right? You could basically just stop hanging out with them. Every time they ask you to hang out, you could just kind of tell them that you're busy, or just respond really slow. Just stop making an effort into the relationship and slowly let them wither away. This is kind of like the easiest option to kind of drop this person out of your life. Option 2, you could completely cut them off. You could tell them like, yo, I don't like this about you. We cannot continue being friends, or we cannot continue like being in each other's presence. I don't think we mix together well, and I'm on a journey. I'm on my own journey, and I honestly don't feel like long term this is gonna work out. So you don't have to be like a dickhead about it. Like, you could basically tell them like, hey, you know, this ain't working out. I just want to let you know that I just don't see you in my life, you know, from this point forward. I'm making some changes and it is what it is. So basically, you're not ghosting them. You're basically telling them like, yeah, like I just really don't want you in my life. You could do that. That's pretty savage if you do that. You could do that, and sometimes that's what you got to do because these people are fucking showing up at your house unannounced, or they're, you know, coming and just unannounced, like showing up to where you're at and still polluting your life. And the longer these guys pollute your life, the longer these people pollute your life, it gets worse and worse. These people are parasites. They're energy vampires. They suck the blood out of like the social situations. They like to antagonize. They just get off on chaos and negativity. And like I said, when you start your self-improvement, when you start elevating yourself, these people, it's going to be less and less and less compatible hanging out with these people because you're not on the same wavelength. Some of these people may have entered your life because you were in a negative spot, because you were in a low point. I want you to think about how this person entered your life, and more likely than not, you met this person at like a low point in your life or like a negative point in your life, and this person was y'all were able to form some sort of bond or friendship. Guys, this also goes for toxic relationships. This goes for even being with a woman that is toxic, that is causing you anguish. So whenever y'all met, something clicked where y'all did begin some sort of informal friendship or relationship where you started seeing each other. And typically, this is one thing you'll notice with toxic people. In the beginning, it's great. In the beginning, I've always noticed this is how they operate. They start off like really nice, like really chill, really cool. You know, everything's perfect. And they're like very generous and stuff. But over time, these people will push your boundaries. These people, toxic people, negative people, they will push your boundaries like extremely hard. Like they will constantly move the needle. They will get in your physical space, right? They'll touch you, they'll poke you. They will say things that cross the line. They will say very rude things or very nasty things to you, worse and worse things. And another thing is they'll try to get you comfortable where you kind of like open up about your secrets, your wants, your dreams. Because these people give off the vibe that they're like an open book, right? They give, they just talk so freely, so directly, right? They're an open book. And it makes you want to open up too. The trap is that they're going to use that against you. You tell them a secret, you tell these toxic or negative people your secrets, you engage in like the shit talking. These people are always like gossiping, talking about drama, about other people that you know. And if you engage in that kind of talk with them, they will use it against you. They will literally go to that person and be like, oh, he was talking trash about you. Like when they were the ones that were kind of talking trash about this person, and they kind of like got you to start talking as well. So be careful when someone's always gossiping or complaining about another person or other people consistently. Because if you engage in the gossip, if you engage in the shit talk, you'll soon find out that they're gonna hold it over your head if you try to pull out of this friendship or relationship. And that's another reason why we stay in these things, is because we're afraid of what this person's gonna do, how they're going to retaliate, which they are. They are going to retaliate. You're just gonna have to rip off the bandage. They're gonna talk trash about you. They are gonna flip the story around that you like fucked them over, that they're the victim. You'll notice these people are always the victim. They are always the victim in their stories. When you cut this person off, it ain't gonna be no different. You gotta rip off the band-aid and you gotta move on, because at the end of the day, you only have one life to live. So why would you want to spend your life with someone that's constantly asking you for money, or constantly mistreating you, constantly being annoying as fuck, you know, embarrassing you, or gossiping, or talking shit, poking fun at you, right? These people need to be getting rid of as quick as possible, as soon as possible. They're like leeches, guys. They really are leeches. You gotta pull the fucking leech off. And even if they're intermeshed within your group of friends, like, you gotta walk your own fucking path on this journey. If you gotta leave that group, if you gotta leave that friend group because of this person, that's what you gotta do, guys. If your friends don't take your side and they decide to ally with a toxic individual over you, if you're a good person and they take the side of this toxic person, they're not worth, it's not worth having them as friends, honestly. Because if they really are your true friend, they will take your side. They will choose the side of positivity. If they choose the side of this negative energy vampire, I'm sorry guys, but he has them in his control, or in her control, and there's not much you can do to help them. They're gonna keep falling back into hanging out with this person. They're gonna keep falling back into talking with this person. Another thing you'll notice, even when you cut these energy vampires off, is they will reach back out. It happens so many times. You'll notice this happens so many times. They'll cross the line. They'll cross a line that almost cannot be crossed. And after that, when you say, you know, you're like, screw this, like, no, I don't want to hang out with you anymore, like, I can't, or you start pushing them away, you'll notice another thing. These people will reach back out to you and they'll say sorry. They will say, hey man, I'm so sorry, you know, like, that was crossing the line. And they will weasel their way back into your life. They will do it. It's insane, and they will always do this. They'll push the boundaries, they'll push the boundaries, they'll push until you finally snap. And when you do snap, when they know that the friendship or relationship or whatever is on the brink of collapse, they will come and like bare their heart to you or whatever. They will like come like, oh, you know, I'm being sincere. I'm just so sorry, you know. I'm so sorry, like, that was wrong. You know, can we just put this behind us? Can we continue our friendship? Can we? But that's the thing. So you'll accept them back into your life. Okay, let's say you accept them. It restarts the cycle. It literally restarts the cycle. They're like super nice, super chill, right? When you take them back, it seems like they're treating you a lot better. They're treating you a lot more respectfully. And then over time, it gets more and more toxic. It gets worse and worse. They start pushing the boundaries once again. They start testing you once again. The shit talk starts back up. The toxicity, the bullying starts back up. I'd like to tell you a story about a friend I used to have for years that was a toxic person. It was this guy named Brandon. And this guy named Brandon, I met him through my group of friends. And he was one of the higher ranking friends in the friend group. He was definitely one of the quote unquote main members. And this friend group I really loved. it was my high school friend group for a few years. This friend group probably lasted about 4 years, and Brandon was one of the main members. And this guy was always pushing everyone's buttons. He was a cool guy. He played music. He seemed nice. And he seemed like kind of an intelligent dude. You know, he was smart and he was fun to hang out with. He was like a party animal. He was always doing things. He was going on trails. He was into retro games. We would go hiking. We would go do little adventures and stuff. He was a guy that you could talk about anything with, you know, no judgment, man, you know. But this dude was always pushing people's buttons. He would do stuff like he would slap your ass, for example. And then he would say, oh, I'm just messing around, man, you know. And it was so weird. He would like grab like your crotch and stuff, like when you're drinking with him, like as a joke or some shit. Or he would grab your fucking like nipple and pinch it. And dude, looking back, like I would never put up with this shit now. But like I said, it's usually when you're like at a low point, you're part of like a friend group, you don't want to disturb the peace. So we were just putting up with this. So there was like weird like stuff he would do, like he would like grope you, like when you're having like drinks or whatever. He would like say it was horseplay. He would like, you know, touch you and like oh, I'm just messing around, bro. Like he would grab your like your chest and like squeeze it and stuff like real quick, like, oh, I'm just fucking with you. Like he would do stuff like that. And then he would also get like super aggressive if you pissed him off. This guy, it was like we all had like kind of a fear of him. Because this dude was like kind of a fighter. He could fight and he wasn't afraid to fight. You know, he was honestly like a little bit of like a scary guy. Like, I ain't even gonna lie. So he was almost like, oh, you know, I'd rather have him as a friend than a foe. Because he was also like some dude, he would like harass the fuck out of people, man. Like he caused like a couple people in my town to move away because he like beat them up and he was basically just like going after them. Like a couple people in my school actually moved because of this dude was just constantly harassing them. He would like see them out in public. He like beat this guy's ass out in public, like on video, right? Just humiliated him. So this guy also had like a reputation of like, yeah, he was just like this fucking like aggressive motherfucker, you know? Like he was funny and he was cool. And he was fun to hang out with, I'm not gonna lie. You know, we had a lot of great memories. You know, he used to come to my house. We would play video games all night. We would drink. We would talk about life, philosophy. We would talk about women. You know, we would go on random, spontaneous adventures. And it was weird because, so this guy, Brandon, when you would hang out with him on a one-on-one setting, like it's just you and him, like the two of y'all, I don't know what to call this, but he was like the chillest dude ever. Super nice, super chill to hang out with. It was like he wasn't pushing the buttons. But the second where it was in a group of people, when the friend group would get together, when everyone was together, that's when this guy's antics would start. That's where he would like be like weird, passive aggressive. He would like, you know, say like shit that was like way out of hand. And this guy would say like fucked up shit too, like he would like joke or whatever, but he would say like some shit that would make you like uncomfortable, like about your past or about something that you did that was like really bad. You know, if someone made him mad, he'd be like, oh, like that time that you did this, or, and of course it's like something bad that you did or something fucked up that you did or something that was embarrassing about you. And like I said, this dude was like a drama, like gossip, like mega gossiper. He was always talking trash about like, oh, fucking Ethan, blah, blah, his fat ass. You know, I saw on his computer, like, you know, he was watching like this fucking granny porn or whatever. You know, and I told Ethan, I was like, what the fuck, dude? And Ethan was like, dude, like, he would just gather information, like the craziest, weirdest information. He was always talking trash about everybody. Like this guy had like dirt on everyone. This dude had like dirt on everyone, and he was always fucking talking shit about people. And he would get you to start talking shit about them too, like for the conversation. It was like he would like lead you into it, like, oh, how do you feel about, you know, so and so. You know, I was a teenager at this point. I didn't know any better. I was like 15 or 16 when I met him, when I became his friend. So the friendship, I was naive, and the self-improvement community did not exist at this point. It didn't really exist. So I was just ignorant, and you know, we had a lot of good times with this guy, a lot of adventures. Like I said, he was a party animal, he was fun. You know, he did some nice things here and there, and he was definitely interesting to be around or hang out with. He would make things a little bit more fun and exciting, because also this dude was like a bum though. This dude always had like no money, and he was like, oh bro, I left my wallet. You know that fucking old trick? Oh bro, I left my wallet. Or, hey bro, I'll pay you back, I got you. And this fucking guy is always like fucking bumming like crazy, bro. Like, if you got something, dude, we used to go to like restaurants where like sit down. He was like the biggest cheapskate ever. Like, he would fucking, if nobody would pay for his food, he would try to get you to like pay for the food. I remember he would like eat like the fucking tortilla chips, like the tortilla chips at the table. Like, if we went to like a restaurant where they like had like the fucking free tortilla chips, this dude would fucking eat them if no one paid for his meal. Like, and we would like, oh guys, come on, let's go to the store. He would go and like steal food, steal drinks. He would like never pay for shit. This guy would never pay for fucking anything. No gas money, nothing like that. He had a car for a short period, and this motherfucker is always like asking for gas money. Like, hey bro, you got some gas money? Like, you know, I'm driving us around. But if you're driving this dude around, he ain't paying shit. He ain't paying no fucking gas money. So I mean, why did we put up with this for so long, right? Why would we put up with such a toxic, obnoxious person for so long? Like I said, we all had a fear of him. Like, if you guys ever hung out in our group with this guy, he was like fucking rowdy. He was violent. He was aggressive. He was a tough motherfucker. I mean, I'll give him that. He was a tough dude. You know, he could fight. He had that. And he wasn't afraid to fight. He wasn't afraid. This guy had like no fear of confrontation. It was his special ability. No fear of confrontation or conflict. So he was able to use fear to basically keep himself in a high position within the friend group, to have that powerful position to where he was able to bum. He was able to say fucked up shit. He was able to push the boundaries. And also, this dude caused other friends in the group to be excommunicated. So there was people that did hang out with us where he was able to like basically like turn everyone against this person, that, you know, once he didn't like this person, or once someone became his target, everyone in the friend group, it was like a pack of like fucking coyotes or piranhas. Then we started harassing that person. Then the whole group started like, oh, they're an enemy of the group, you know? So he was one of the people that was holding the group together. Definitely the bonds of the group were being held together by him. He was a major factor in that. And like, yeah, no, he really ruled by fear, you know? He ruled with fear. He ruled through persuasion, coercion, like a very Machiavellian like character, you know, like a very negative, toxic, Machiavellian, sociopathic person. And you'll notice these things about like a lot of these toxic people. Like, they're smart, they know how to persuade people, they know how to talk to people, they have, you know, very powerful speaking skills, they have very powerful persuasion skills, they know how to get what they want through convincing others. And this guy, through just his lack of fear, was able to persuade, and he was a good talker. And like I said, one-on-one, he seemed like the nicest person ever. He used so many different little tactics to keep a grip. But here comes his downfall. Whenever you do, the reason why ruling by fear is such, it's a shaky way to keep people in your good graces. It's a shaky way to, it's not a good long-term strategy, because the second you fuck up, or the second that someone stops like following the prerogative, people are gonna act like they like you face to face, when people fear you or they're afraid to piss you off. But the second you fall off like your high horse, the second you fuck up, the second something happens to where you lose like your grip, these people are not gonna want you around anymore. They're gonna it's gonna be even worse for you. When your group loves you, when your friends love you, when they're not fearful of you, they're more likely to stick around long term, to actually stick up for you if you fuck up or if you do something wrong. Whereas this guy, he fucked up. He was pushing the boundaries once again. And me and the other friends in the group started talking, right? We all started talking. We're like, it was me and one other person. I kind of was like, yeah, man, this guy, he got caught like stealing alcohol from one of my friends. This guy, Brandon, got caught stealing alcohol. He was over watching my buddy like play like a computer game. He was just hanging out. He was the kind of guy, he would also show up at your house randomly. He would just show up at your house and he would just like open the fucking door and like let himself in and like, oh man, I just want to see what you're up to, super fucking annoying. But he was already like in there and walking in. It was kind of like, oh, this fucking dude, and you kind of just hang out with him for a little bit to get him to fuck off. But he would do that because this dude is always unemployed and he always has fucking free time on his hands. But he got caught stealing alcohol from one of my buddies. He was at his house, quote unquote, hanging out. He just showed up, and my buddy like turns his head, and my friend had like an expensive bottle of like bourbon on like his shelf. Like it was like some like really expensive liquor. And this guy, Brandon, the toxic guy, he looks over and he sees him. He was like taking a quick swig out of it. He was like waterfalling the bourbon. And he like fucking puts the cap on and like sticks it on the shelf real quick and tries to act like nothing happened. And my friend was just like, dude, what the fuck? Like, you couldn't ask for, to just, I would have let you if you just asked. He was like, oh man, I'm sorry. I just, it's like such a good like alcohol, like it was just so good. And then like 2 days later, this dude would do another thing. He would never like tip waitresses because he was just like a fucking cheapskate. So when he had money, he would like go out to eat, but he would like never leave a tip for the waitress, which is fucked up. And one of our friends, like girlfriends, is like a waitress over at this restaurant. And a few people we knew like worked at this restaurant too. And they told us, we're like, hey, your buddy Brandon fucking showed up and he asked for this one waitress's number that we all knew, right? This girl that we went to school with. He asked for her number and she said no. And apparently he was like super rude after that. He was like talking like trash to her and just being like extremely rude. And then I think he left like, they told us that he left like a penny as like a tip. Like he left her like a penny for the tip, which is like super, that's worse than not leaving a tip. And he was just being like a complete dickhead because she said like, oh, sorry, I have a boyfriend or whatever, because he wanted her number. So that was another thing that happened in like the same week. And that pissed like a few of us off because we knew that girl. And a few of our friends like knew her that were like not part of the group. So me and my buddy, the one with the stolen alcohol, were like, yeah, you know, like, I don't think this guy's kind of getting on our nerves. So we kind of like talked to another friend in the friend group, and he was like, dude, I felt the same way, like, but I was scared to say anything. And after that, this begins like a domino effect. This becomes a domino effect to where like we all kind of start talking without telling him, and lo and behold, fucking 90% of the friend group fucking hates this guy. And we were all just playing along with it. It was like so crazy. We were all like, yeah, like, you know, I felt the same way, like he's fucking annoying, he's obnoxious, but I didn't want to say anything because, you know, I didn't want him to start like fucking with me, or like I still wanted to hang out with y'all. So basically everyone was like scared of saying something, but 90% of everyone in the friend group felt like yeah, like secretly like that they fucking like that they hated him, you know, because of all the bullshit he would do, all of the toxicity. So this guy literally lost all of his friends at the same time. Everyone started like ghosting him. He tried like, you know, hanging out with us again. He was like trying to reach out. We like just blocked him and shit. We just started ignoring him, and he fucking hated it. He lost like all of his friends at once. All of them. He basically got excommunicated himself. He got excommunicated from his own group of friends. How ironic. And he was one of the guys that would always be excommunicating people. Crazy story. So, if there's one thing though, I wish I would have fucking cut him off sooner. If I had the confidence I had now, I would not put up with that shit. I would have just fucking said, you know, I would have walked away, guys. You know, I ain't even gonna lie. Like, I don't even think I need to say anything. I just would have fucking went my own path. There's no need for me to start conflict. I could just go my own way, you know? Anyways, I got a coaching link down below if you want to talk to me. Leave a comment about a story about a toxic friend or family member. Leave it in detail. Maybe I'll make a video about it. Peace out, guys.